All right, good evening, everyone. Um, I've due to some schedule changes, I'm going to be actually available to do 3 nights of streaming tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday night. Part of that was made due to the Philadelphia Eagles championship parade that I was at today, and as a in honor of Philadelphia, I'm going to be doing photos from my SEPTA Mid-Winter Trip from 2007. So this is one of the last few photo sets from 2007. I know I've been doing some 2008s recently. And with 3 nights, I should be able to wrap this up pretty well. So we're gonna get started here. So for those who don't know, I did one. I talked about this recently. My SEPTA Midwinter trips are a thing I do every year between Christmas and New Year's. They were designed to take advantage of weekday schedules when people could take off from either school or business or work due to the holidays and not have to ride the awful weekends SEPTA frequencies. So this trip is going to cover going up to Lansdale, coming back down, doing a loop, a fairly uncommon loop on the Route 11 and Route 13 line out to Darby, and then finishing up with the what would be fairly new for 2007, the Route 15. So it's the Girard Trolley out to Port Richmond. So we're going to be starting on a train out to Lansdale. This would be from the front. Now it's December, so it's going to be not the greatest weather. Here we see a recently re-signaled CP Newtown Junction, and this would have also been at the location of the old Tabor train station, and that the bridge there is for Broad Street. If you were wondering where this is, it is located. Oops, that's don't have this quite up. There's Wayne Junction. It is right. Oh, sorry, not Tabor. It will be the Logan Station. Yep, you gotta get to the right one here. Right where it's north of North Philly. It's where the Reading Main Line recrosses the Broad Street at the old Logan train station. This was closed in sometime in the 90s, demolished in the mid 2000s. Passenger tracks were realigned as they curved around the outbound station platform. You can't really see it. I think the resignaling really zapped it. There was one additional station, which I think was Tioga or Tabor, and that is also not there anymore. Logan is right adjacent to the Broad Street line, so that's why they really didn't need it. Whoops. Alrighty. This is right after they moved to a Metro North style reduced at limited aspect or reduced aspect set of you basically stop cab speed and restricting. The first and this was yeah. So they zapped a lot of their signals pretty early on, unfortunately. Oops. Alrighty. Oopsies. What am I doing here? I haven't done one of these in about a couple months, so I get a little rusty. There we go. And here we have the same situation, just a little bit closer to the Broad Street Bridge there. and right up close. So when they re-signaled this, they not only changed out the signals, they did reconfigure the interlocking. This was one of SEPTA's first septaration projects to separate SEPTA traffic from CSX traffic on the Fox Chase line, which used to be the Newtown branch. That's why this is Newtown Junction. So instead of having SEPTA trains have access to both tracks between here and Cheltenham Junction, CSX uses one track, SEPTA uses one track. They built a passing siding right near Cheltenham Junction, and they built a passing pocket right here. So trains looking to enter the line, if there's a conflicting move, they can get off the main line. They can hang out in this passing pocket. You can see the two signals, and then maybe they can wait for it to clear. Previously, this was a flat, two-track flat junction that featured a diamond crossover. Here we have this one's SEPTA before they lost their they had a real, and they were really enamored with what do you call those, unilens signals. You can see the existing Reading Tower, which is still there. SEPTA was quite taken with the unilens signal until they got sick of them and replaced them generally with LEDs, searchlight LEDs. But for this point, they're still doing unilenses. So here we have the and finally we have the signal bridge, the revamped signal bridge at the last thing. Next, so here we have Fern Rock Transportation Center. To this day, SEPTA will still park one or more of their push-pull sets here during the midday. They only basically make one round trip every day, and this is where they stick them. Here we have number 174, Silverliner 4 coming out of Fern Rock. Looks like it's on an R5, same thing we are. And that is SEPTA's lone ALP 44, number 2008. I can tell because it looks different than an AM7. That unit was given as compensation for by Alstom or ABB for late signal work on the Norristown high-speed line. What is it? SEPTA would frequently take instead of money, would take bonuses from the various vendors that screwed them over. So I have this as 2004. No, that's 2000. That is clearly the ALP 47. Looks like the ALP whatever there, the ALP 44. Yeah, you can see that it has those big grills on the side. The AM7 would look different. Yeah, see the small grill. To this day, here we have the signals for Tabor Junction. The junction, the junction part of Tabor Junction, is not just interlocking. It's because there was a. This is where the freight branch to Port Richmond would branch off. You can see it, or a branch. I think it's the freight branch to Port Richmond. No. It was just a freight zone here. This is a place you can see the restricting indications on these. These signals are frequently fleeted. Um, so they will go from stop to restricting and then to cab speed. And we just have this also. This new interlocking used to be pneumatic, and then it was just basically turned to a, plain old GRS Model 5 plant. Nothing worthwhile to mention. And here we have the signals at the other side. This used to be, up until this time, Rule 250. Until like 2005, this was Rule 251. So each, there would be a main direction high signal and then a reverse direction dwarf. Now they're both, except for that unilens dwarf, this has two mass signals. Now here we are approaching Jenkintown. So this is Jenk South. Well, let's double check that for one. Jenkin. Yep, Jenk South. So it's Jenkin is the name of the main one, but they went with Jenk South for the crossover they put ahead of it. This is where SEPTA was using non-conditional cab signal drops for speed control before the whole PTC thing, and it really slowed stuff down. The question is, what's that bridge? I think it's the turnpike, but I'm not entirely sure. Well, maybe not. Nope, it's it's PA 73 or Washington Lane. And here a closer one of Jenk, what is it? The South Jenk, Jenk South interlocking. At this point in time, this is well before PTC was installed, but you would still be crawling along at 30 miles an hour. I don't know if they fixed it. It was a major bottleneck. And there we have, so while that's this is Jenkin interlocking and the old Jenkin Tower. So this used to have, Jenkintown used to have a nicer top to it. It's KI Tower. It used to be called JK. So you can see there it had what is it called? It had a nicer Reading style top there. At some point that was I have been into the base of it where there was an employee hanging around there. It was turned into a. Remember, Reading closed all of its towers with remoted them to to Wayne Junction pretty early on. Today this is a maintenance away base, and there's the new thing they put on there for maintenance away guys. Yep. That's our first set done. Oops. This will get us the rest of the way to Lansdale. By the way, the same thing applies. There might be a weird crash here because of Windows 10 incompatibility. So if that happens, that's just what it is. Trying to figure this out here. It's all wavy because I'm shooting this through a window. Two panes of glass at the front. This is sort of a high signal of unilenses, so it's more almost like a pedestal. Here we have approaching Glenside. Glenside used to be the terminal for R1 airport trains, so it had a degree of interlockingness about it. What do we have here? This is Carmel South. Carmel is the interlocking at Glenside, where the Warminster branch splits off. If you're wondering why, remember, it's a flashing green, so a lot of these cab signal photos, cab speed signals, just have a dark upper head because I caught them between flashes. And here we are at the other end of the platform. This would be Carmel itself. This somehow retained its movable point diamond. So there you go. Looks like I don't have any additional photos there. So this is the new. So between Carmel and Lansdale, there were no crossovers in the ABS 251 days. And even then, Jenkintown and this didn't even offer good crossover compatibility in the old days. I think Carmel had a crossover so that airport trains could terminate, but there wasn't a double crossover. And both of them were flat junctions in the fact that they had movable point diamonds. They weren't designed to allow trains to switch from one side to the other. So they really had to go and break out temporary hand throw type crossovers if there was a problem. So you got to say that at least there was some pretty strong motivation here. This would be Gwen interlocking. Gwynedd, Gwynedd. It's a Welsh word. There we go. And here we have our facing point crossover. These were clearly, this is one of the, I'm pretty sure that currently this line sees 70 miles an hour, where a town hasn't complained about crossing safe, like drivers getting hit by trains. So where they will then slow it down. I don't know what system SEPTA uses for its switch numbering. Oh, that's even spelled wrong. GWY. And I think it's only, wait, how many N's? GWYNEDD. Ours wasn't even close. Yeesh. NEDD. There we go. And here we have the rear of the other ones. This is the old Reading Bethlehem branch. SEPTA didn't want to go to Bethlehem, so they got rid of that connection. But you can tell that this is definitely a very nice. This wasn't really the Reading's main line at all, but it was very well constructed. Well constructed. And finally, we reach Lansdale, which has again also been rebuilt. I really wish I'd gotten, you know, a few more rounds of the block signals on the line before it was redone. Yeah, the main problem here is SEPTA was doing CTC upgrades, but when they got around to this point, they were just done with automatic block signaling, and they just was going for the whole Metro North thing. Oh no, wait, that's right. They wanted to transitize everything. They weren't even going to have NORAD flashing green cab speed. They were going to have flashing lunar for diverging cab, lunar for straight cab. They really wanted to run this like a transit system, just like their Market Frankfurt. This is SEPTA Dale for Lansdale interlocking, and that plan never came to fruition. But the whole like reduced aspect thing did come, even though they're still kind of railroady. And here we have the new Dale interlocking. I forget how much stuff was added to this, if any. I know it had a full crossover before. I think that it has an additional set. It might have just had one crossover. They did add a parallel movement here for whatever reason. This is where not this specific crossing, but the next crossing actually had a manned tender. One of two such. It had a crossing tower, which was independent of the interlocking. So it was one of the last two places here in Blue Island that had this sort of crossing tower arrangement for manual activation of the Great Crossing signals. Technically, I think that there's some crossings in Malden, Massachusetts, or Medford, Massachusetts, that technically have crossing tenders, and there's a couple other places I'm sure around due to state laws or whatnot. So that first crossing is Broad Street, not the Broad Street. It's like Lansdale Broad Street. By the way, I haven't checked any of the. I'm sorry, I forgot to check for questions. Yeah, this is 2007. Which signal got replaced back in 2022? The Unilens. So here we have parallel moves. So interestingly enough, there's a second track that sort of goes around the back of the station. So northbound trains to Doylestown will take up this switch in the foreground, whereas trains from Lansdale will come around and take this switch over here to track 1. This is a Lansdale terminating train, so we're just going to pull right into the station. Wait, what is that track called? It's called something. No, I guess it's just called Doylestown 1 track. Your Doylestown station, your Doylestown track 2, and then Doylestown track 1 switch right in the front. I'm going to crop out that Doylestown track 2 because I don't need it. And then just do a thing with this. There we go, northbound. Perfect. And here we have, what street is this? This is Main Street. So there's a Broad Street and a Main Street here in Lansdale. Quite creative with those names. Lansdale is one of the nicer station buildings. Got a lot of neat Reading features on it. Reading, you know, just like Reading Railroad signage. Notice also the cool SEPTA Lollipop sign over there. Those were a fixture. I think that those are still around. I don't know how many new ones are going up, but a lot of people love the old lollipop signs, especially where you have like on the R3 or the Newtown where there'd be a discontinued service will have been discontinued. These unilenses have been replaced by little 2-aspect dwarfs that can just give a restricting. Eventually your cab will come up and you follow that. I don't even know if they really, like, SEPTA just barely cares whether something's restricting or not. They also have a lot of weird stuff to creep up to them to activate the crossing. So part of the thing they had with the crossing tender is that he would activate the crossings when the trains, you know, the trains weren't delayed getting the gates to go down. The crossing tender would lower them. He knew when trains were scheduled to leave. Well, now that costs money, so now the trains have to creep up, trigger the gates, wait for them to go down, then depart. Anything to make the service worse, I guess. All right, that's part 2 of 4. I mean, set of photos 2 of 4 for today. While those load, let me see if anyone actually has questions. Oh, yeah, I know that. No. Well, Thorne's not going to close that soon. Like I said, it's going to still control Fraser and Glen, even though that it's not going to control its local interlocking. I mean, soon, sure, but like it's not going to close when this Thorne thing is done. It's not going to hit immediately. Thorne's barely a thing of itself. They already replaced all the switches. There's really not a lot going on there. So some 562 colorized position lights aren't the worst thing at this point. You know, that's sort of a push. Oh, wonderful. We got all the substation stuff on here. But we have Silverliner 2s. Oh. I don't think I need this photo. I think this photo is garbage, and I bet I didn't use it to begin with. Yep. I'm just going to cut this one. So, I definitely want to zoom in on these guys. There we go. Don't need all those cars. Oh, there's a 2 and a 3. I think I have these. Let's go through my other photos here. Come on, what's that second guy? It is... It's a 2, a 3, a 2, and a 3. Wait. 2, 3, 2, 2. Am I missing something here? Okay, 2, 2, 3. Okay. That's... Oh, maybe there's another 3 all the way in the back. Okay, 2, 2... Hold on. They're doing all sorts of crazy stuff with the stuff. So I'm going to need to go and really zoom in to see what that second Silverliner 3 is that I did not get a photo of. I cannot see that for the life of me. It's definitely 200 something. I think I see a 9 in there. So it could be 229. Close enough. Unless I can see it off of this. Nah, not really. So the first one's 9009, and then the other one I guess maybe it'll be 229. Yes, SEPTA, when they had the 2s and 3s, they like to really run those together. They had different speeds and other issues that you'd get between a 3 and a 4, although you could run 2s, 3s, and 4s all together, fully in service. Oop. We have our CSX yard. I don't know nothing really interesting here today. I don't know who that is. 8865 would be a CSX unit. That's a 8888 is CSX GP4 SD40, so it might be an XCSX unit. So what do we have? We have, I'm just going to call it 8865, 2813, and 6160. Pretty sure 6160 is going to be a GP40. I bet that's a GP38. Let's check. I wasn't expecting to get stuff here. So 6100 series, where are they? I'm pretty sure GP40-2s. Correct. That 21 whatevers. What is that? 2813. Yep. GP38 -2. Right at the end of the. Oh, that's the second to last one. Conrail unit, and then I believe 8865 would be an SD40-2. Whether or not it's still, I mean, a bunch of these went off roster, so. I bet that 88 one is is owned by East Penn or something, but I don't know their reporting marks or whatever. I don't feel like looking it up, so. It's effectively a CSX. I'm just going to go with it being CSX. It's in their numbering scheme. So 8865, 2813, and 6160. Oh. Did I do this already? Oh, cool. I did. I can actually reuse a file name. Thank God. That rarely happens in these days. I wonder if I can square this. Yeah, it looks like it. There's a word for this thing that I have, but I forget what it is. This is where I need to go to one of my other sets of photos, which actually would be this most previous SEPTA Mid-Winter Trip that I did, because I went back up to Lansdale again. Did I also go to Darby? No, I went to VII. There it is. It's the catenary anchor. Alright, that works. Cool. Yeah, I used to really brighten stuff up, but it would like I'm a little bit more wary of that. Just because I don't like blowing out the backgrounds. There's often a lot of stuff with wires and things that you just don't really want to blow out in the back. All right, that looks good. Some of the stuff's a little off kilter, but nothing I can really do about that. All right, bring that up there. Okay, I want to keep those derails in. Today, East Penn still has that last running C39-8. They got two, like one's for kind of parts and the other one's for running. I don't know how often it runs, but it does. Last I heard, it does. Note they're still using the original R system and the destination signs in these in 2007. We're getting kind of near the end of that, unfortunately. Here we have our Lansdale substation. All right, I'll go with that. So I've used I have a lot of photos of Lansdale, the Lansdale substation over the years. In fact, you can see what they've done to it. Where is that? Oh, here it is. So it did unfortunately get rebuilt with new equipment, but they kept the building and they kept the structure. It's all got repainted. So everything here is on pads and new and fancy with new insulators. But it's still at least using the original I-beams and stuff from the Reading. So I'll take that. I'll take that win. And I think some of the stuff, the pad mounted stuff, seems to be the same. So even though this name isn't super descriptive, I have a lot of other photos of this, so I know that this won't be uh, conflicting. So all of this stuff went in sometime in the 1930s when the Reading got money to electrify. I think it was federal funds to electrify. Or loans, I should probably say. So these were not, as far as I'm aware, these are not PCB'd transformers. So those giant puddles of oil you see in front of them aren't like that bad of a problem. But I'm sure, like, these were just leaking and leaking the oil in them for ages. You can see the slicks. This would be using mineral oil, some sort of refined petroleum distillate for the cooling. These are 25 hertz auto transformers. SEPTA or the Reading uses a lot of other. New Haven used it too, and even it's honestly the standard you have. What they call an auto transformer setup, where you have a feeder usually operating at twice the voltage of the overhead catenary and operating 180 degrees out of phase, connected to the overhead by these auto transformers, and that allows you to have a differential that's much higher without having anything that's power to ground would need high tension lines. So in this case, your overhead trolley wire is 12 kV. Your feeders are 24 kV, so you have a 36 kV differential between them, and that allows for all the advantages you'd get for 36 kV. Nah. Now the question is what transformer is what? I believe this is transformer 2. So I don't know why this is all green. That's sort of weird. Okay, that's better color. Looks like I did not take a picture of the oil slick underneath the transformer. And here we have our breakers. These are on load break. These are 12 kV on load breakers. Or I mean breakers break on load. That's what they're for. Again, original 1930 equipment. Those little mad scientist-y things sticking out of the top are called bushings. Oh, I don't want to do that. All right. A bushing basically provides a tube for the high voltage to go through to get into the tank, where it's then in another insulating medium. It just creates an insulative. It prevents a conductive pathway forming between this and the structure of the thing. Huh. Looks like we have out of order stuff here. Oh, there it is. So I don't know if this is 12 kV breakers or oh no, this is going to be a 22. This is I think 22 kV breakers. And here we have 9009 again in the yard. With it generally devoid of other trains because they're all downtown for the day. So you can see how I really used to lighten things up here. But like I said, I learned that you'd start losing detail if you did that. All right, I can go a little bit farther down. There we go. That looks good. Oops. So yeah, I mean, I definitely sort of blew that up. But it's a gray day. What can you do? But like, yeah, see here, I have the wires, and this one, they're more blown out. I don't know what I used to do. I used to do like a lot of weird stuff with this. But like, you can't see the clouds and stuff. Maybe that's better. You gotta find a happy medium. All right, we're almost down to our last set of the day. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Any questions? Oh, hope we didn't drive everybody away. I've been trying to provide some answers here. So you have Silverliner 2 9009. The Silverliner 2, the 9000 series were Reading units. In fact, all their MUs, like the Blue Liners, were like the 9100 series. So they really, and originally the single unit Silverliner 4s were in the 9000 series until they got renumbered. There's an accident that involved one, so they're always taught it's like 90-20 whatever, like 90-25 or something. Oops, we are good there. Okay, so I know that one's going to be 229, and the one behind it is something else. $90.15. What's that other one? Oh, come on! It's how do I just not get these? Looks like 233. What was their number range? Yep, no, it wouldn't be 233. That's a Silverliner 2 thing, so. So those are you can see the feeder cables for the things there on the overhead catenary. I'll show you in a second. Oop, I got rid of it. That right there is the 22 kV feeder, and that's 12 kV, and it's out of. It said it's 180 degree out of. Oh, goddamn. So that creates effectively what they call a 36 kV system. So one of the neat things on all the Reading MUs, including the Silverliner 4s, until they were replaced, they came with cow catchers. So here we have a picture of 9009's truck, complete with a cow catcher on something on a thing that was delivered in 1974 or 64. And the Silverliner 4s even had cow catchers, and they were delivered up through the 1976. So I just love how the Reading kept ordering its. That's a Pioneer 3 truck, by the way. Kept ordering its equipment with cow catchers. That's just amazing. Because why change? Why change now? Use the existing name. So that's land interlocking down there. I should have gotten better pictures. So this was unre-signaled for quite some time. I think I got some I got some reasonable ones, but I didn't really go all out to get photos of this. I got some other photos of the line, but I should have done more on the whole Doylestown branch. I was very nonchalant about D-Town. Track 1 mast. So here we have 9015 and 225. Yeah, I guess the clarify filter really does work well on these gray days. Need to remember that. I used to use the clarify filter a lot, and then I stopped because it was causing a bunch of specific problems in the way my photos looked. But I need to realize that like every so often it does definitely helps to use it. Usually they put, there's got to be somewhere on this where they put the number that I can see it. It's like right there, 03. I think it's a 3-digit one. I think that's a PRR. Oh, I can tell if it's, oh no, it is a, it is one because it's got a cow catcher. So it's got to be 9003. I'm pretty sure that positive that ends in a 3. Oh, maybe I had a different name for these already. See, I didn't even look it up. Here we have the arriving Doylestown train. Did I even deal with that one? Nah, I bet I didn't. I'm going to keep this. So I used to cut a lot very aggressively. 409. Just for people's reference. Oh, this isn't a great photo. For people's reference, the reason there are some 400 numbered Silverliner 4s was because when they were converting from PCB filled transformers to a silicon oil, part of the plan was to rename them when the process was carried out. And even in Amtrak's thing today, they say that like if there's a leak in a non-400 series Silverliner 4, you've got to do all the PCB steps. So everything, they stopped renumbering them because it was confusing. But they never told Amtrak that, like, you know, they're all good with oil now. So the surprise, the stuff's been like left in the rule book. Yeah, it's definitely 409. And here we have number 299 passing 225. And here we have the two northbound signals at land or mast, and these are still color light at this time. Yeah, I really should have had this. This should have been a 5-alarm fire of oh my god, I got to get out here and take these pictures. But I really didn't like driving in this area. I had a car. I really should have just gone out, but I didn't. It was really only later. I would do stuff like go out with Bob or whatever, especially in the later years. I'd bite the bullet. You know, I'd try to have them drive me around, but I should have just bitten the bullet and done it myself. I could have gotten to every goddamn signal location in that area, and I didn't. So there's the land. So they're labeling this as a CP, but SEPTA really doesn't do the whole CP thing. CPs are at least on SEPTA are controlled points. They're points, and they're different than they're usually different than interlockings. So I'm pretty sure that land is absolutely a Doylestown line. Doylestown. Come on. Yep, land. R SEPTA 1. Yep. And down to 2 left. Oh, oh no, it's just 225 and 215 again. And our last one for today. Let's see what did I do with this. All right. How was I still so bad about labeling photos in 2008? I just don't get it. It's like I was interested in signals, but I didn't seem to care about them. Maybe I was just more interested in the towers. No, you see, that's where I get into problems with the clarify filter. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I just need to be better about that. And that track equipment. All right, we are done for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me just deal with this thing real quick. There we go. And let's see if anybody has any questions. All right, thank you so much for enjoying it, everyone, or whoever's left. I will be back tomorrow for the next 2 days. Tomorrow, let's see what we're going to go to. So, yeah, we're going to finish up at Lansdale. Get out to Darby on the... Oh, come on. Get out to Darby on the route, I think, 11. Yes, the 11. And then we're going to have a surprise trip back to Philly on the 13. On that rarely used, that rush hour only track. That there's a fun story with that. and we'll finish up somewhere in there, and then the last day is going to have whatever's left of that Darby stuff, and then a bunch of Route 15 things, some of which I will probably get to delete because so Sunday is going to be a short night. All right. Alrighty. Have a great weekend. Go Eagles. And thanks for supporting the stream and everything, and I hope you enjoyed it. All right. I will